Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Extra Lap podcast. Today, we are extremely lucky enough to have with us UNC runner Ethan Strand. Ethan, how are you today?
I'm good. Just finished up a run and excited to get into the podcast.
Yeah. So, tell us about the run. How was it?
Oh, weather's perfect here right now. It was like 68 degrees and everything. But we had a first big workout back into the outdoor season yesterday, so I was a little tired, but got it done.
Yeah. How does that work? Because you finished up your indoor season, which was a phenomenal ending. But do you just go right into outdoor, or is there any break? Or
Pretty much, yeah. There's a little bit of a break. Like I'll take a down week. I had 2 days off. Um, So it's not too much of a break. Nor like after outdoor season, I'll get a bigger break. I'll probably get like 5, 6 days off. And after cross country, I had probably 3 days off. But after indoor, it's pretty important that we're getting back into training pretty quickly. So
Yeah, it's kind of like indoors kind of weird because at least in cross country you're coming off such a base session versus indoor
mhm.
like you have to get into it quicker to kind of regain a base to get into it. So like how does UNC look at that and how does your training progress through the season?
Yeah. So to be honest, my training in cross country doesn't differ too much from indoor.
Hmm.
Obviously, like every once in a while, we throw in like a speed session or a 5K pace effort workout. But a lot with me specifically, I gain a lot of strength through the longer stuff. Like on yesterday, we did 8 by mile, and we're going to continue doing workouts like that pretty far into this outdoor season. So for indoor, it's the same. A lot of strength based workouts, and then a few quick hits or a few hits of like faster paced stuff
Hmm.
leading into races. But for the most part, my races are my speed sessions.
Yeah, and as a strength runner like yourself, when you're going into a workout, you said you're doing 8 by mile. Like how do you start that and how do you like try to bring it down?
Yeah, so we had a group of like five of us yesterday.
Hmm.
We went out to Tobacco Trail, which is like 26-mile long crushed gravel path in the Raleigh Durham area. Super nice. So we started at like 5:05, 5:10, and then worked our way down to about 4:45.
Hmm.
But it's a pretty logical progression. It's rolling hills, so it's coming up the hill. We might have a 5:05 rep on mile 6, but because we're going uphill, the effort's you know pretty tough. But yeah, a lot like that stuff is what we do or at least what I do the majority of the season. Some people are a little different and on a different schedule. Uh, that just seems to work best for me.
Yeah, and like at least for this indoor season, you threw in a lot of 5Ks, 3Ks, and mile, and you kind of bounced around a little bit. So like the strength makes a lot of sense. And like, how do you say the workouts translated in like a specific race or like a specific part of the race?
Yeah, I'd have to say the when I went up to Boston the first time to run at the New Balance facility, when I got my nationals qualifier, the week before that, I did my first like speed session, I guess you could say, of the season, which was like a 500, 1K 500.
Mhm.
So it kind of set me up really well for a mile just because I hadn't raced yet.
Mhm.
So it gave me kind of like that race effort feel. So a lot of like all of the speed work we do is for like a specific reason, whether I haven't raced and have a race coming up, or if I'm just trying to hone in on that mile pace, 58, 59 second per 400-meter pace. But like that workout in particular was good. I mean, we went like 58 through the 400 to the first 500, and then continued on 14 point second pace for the last 100. And then I did a 1K coming through 156 and then kind of kicking it down. So I went 223 for the K. And then the last 500, we came through again 58 through 400 and then kicked the last 100 and was like 70.
Mhm.
But like a workout like that, like in the morning, we also did a threshold session in the morning. So it was a double workout where I went on the track and did 5 by mile and then came back and did the speed stuff in the afternoon. So like we do the speed stuff, just not we don't cut out the strength work and volume to do
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at your season, you won the Eagle Invite, you had to get a time qualifier and stuff like that. But how is it like going from time trialing, not even time trialing, just getting like a qualifier versus like ACCs and like, NCAs when you have like, you kind of have to more of just move on, have a more tactical race.
Yeah, I think it's one thing that I have always loved the tactical races. I've not been as much big of a fan of the time trial type races. As I've gotten a little stronger, the time trialing efforts have become a little easier. Like I'm able to actually like put down a fast time when I want to. Uh, but I still like there's nothing like the tactical racing and trying to win races. So
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Craig Engels about this, and he was talking about how like at first in his career earlier on, it was more of like he would just go out there, and it was more of whoever had the last 100 versus now everyone's just going all out, and I feel like kind of crazy. I don't know. It's just
yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, you get people like I mean, people like someone like Parker can go from the gun if he wants to. So when you have someone like him in your race, you have to be a little bit more prepared for that. But it also depends on the circumstance. Like in an ACC prelim, it's going to be slow early because nobody wants to waste any energy.
mhm.
Um, Whereas in the ACC mile final, we wanted to make it hard from the gun just because that's what we train for. We train for those strength type races.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask that. Like when you're in a prelim as a strength runner, when would you say like in general you have to wind up to go or like against people who are very
I think it absolutely depends on the race. Like in the prelim at NCAA's, I went out in 201, which isn't like fast, but it's fast enough where you're already running a little bit. You're not really jogging 209, 210 through 800. So
Mhm,
it's at least it's a little harder than most people probably expect it to be.
mhm,
In races like that, I kind of have a choice. It's not like I have to go out hard to be able to make a final. So at that point, you just kind of play it by ear, play it by who's in your heat, and then be prepared to do honestly either scenario. Go easy for the first 800 meters and then start winding it up, or go hard from the gun. I think our training prepares us really well for both, and then also I'm personally okay with either one.
yeah. And like I feel a lot of like high schoolers won't understand. I mean, when they're racing, they have the state championship where it's just one seeded heat or nationals where it's just heats. How is it going from a prelim to like just a final in the mile?
Yeah, I think for someone who's not as strong or is not running as much mileage, it's
Mhm,
going to be harder to come back and race over and over and over again.
mhm,
Um, which is like in high school in Alabama, our state meet, we had just one final. Like we had the mile final on one day, the 2 mile final on the next day, and then the 800 mile final on the third day. So you still had to be strong if you wanted to triple, but like if you were just going to go for one event, you just had to be prepared for one race. I think it comes down to being strong enough and being consistent with your training. Because if you're consistent and you're putting in the work every single day, you're gonna be ready to come back and race a second time. And a lot if you're the stronger you are, the more prepared you are to run fast in the prelim and then also run fast again in the final. I think people get a little scared when you have to run hard in a prelim. Like they're nervous that they're not going to have as much left the next day.
mhm,
But I think you are. I'm not scared. I think most people these days are not scared to go hard in the prelim and then come back the next day and also go hard again in the final.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. And like, can you bring us through your NCAA experience, like final, like prelim, just the experience all in all?
Yeah, I think it was really cool one because we had like nine guys at the meet, and it was all distance guys. Obviously, you want to have a like the full team, and we'll get some of the sprinters and throwers there over the next few years. But it was really cool to have just people that you get to go pre meet with,
Mhm,
um, and everything. But once I got into actually like the racing mindset and we got to the track, it was me and my coach had a set plan, which was to go and make the pace honest early, just to give myself the best chance to make the final. Just because like we knew that there are two slots that come from just like the next fastest time. And my heat was pretty good, so it was like, all right, let's make your heat fast so you have a better chance of if you get beat, if you don't make the top four, to get through to the final, which is exactly what happened. I made it honest early, didn't quite have as much as I wanted to over the last, 60, 70 meters.
mhm,
But I was able to pull out fifth in my heat and then got the first time qualifier.
Mhm.
It was a little nerve-wracking after I finished. I was obviously like pretty disappointed at first
Mhm.
before I knew I got in, and I'm just sitting there watching the clock, like, please slow down.
Yeah.
Watching the second heat go, and then once with like 500 to go, 400 to go, I figured they weren't going to do it, so I, loosened up and then started thinking about the final.
Yeah.
So
It was kind of like it's kind of crazy to think, going through from five in the prelim to four in the race. Like, was I mean, did that hurt any optimism at all, or were you just like freshly ready to go in the final?
yeah, I think I knew that I was going to be okay after the prelim. Like obviously the reason I got fifth, I just ran out of speed over the last 50 meters, and it wasn't anything that I think I did wrong. I
Mhm.
just think I didn't quite have it on that day, and I knew there's a great possibility that I was going to have it the next day. And I also think going into the prelim, it's the most nerve wracking race. The final is a lot more, about having fun and going to see what you can do. Whereas the prelim is like there's a lot more pressure on you.
Mhm.
So also once you make the final, it kind of feels like there's a weight lifted off you, and you can just go try to win the race. So I think coming from the mindset of just trying to make the final to okay, I'm running for a national title. Let's go see what I can do. It gave me obviously some extra energy and a new purpose. So
Yeah, is it kind of a crazy thought to be on the line and be like, I can go for a national title?
it is. It's obviously I raced the 1500-meter final last year outdoor.
Mhm.
But like that was not that's not the thought that was running through my head in that race. And you could see by the result. I didn't finish very well. So when I got on the line at this national meet, it was very much like I'm gonna go give myself the best possible chance that I can to win this race. And I thought I did that. I just once again the last 50 meters I tied up a little bit, but I think on like a best case scenario in that race, I set myself up for a chance to win.
Mhm.
There are some other people that if you sit around in eighth, ninth, seventh place and then try to kick the last 200 meters,
Mhm.
you might have you're going to have more left over the last 50 meters, but you can only run yourself so far up there. So I feel like I gave myself the best possible chance to win the race.
Yeah, and kind of switching gears a little bit here. That's not a pun off of what we were just talking about, but kind of going off on a little different tangent. If you were not to be a runner, what sport would you do?
Yeah, I think I probably have to stick with the cardiovascular sports. I played soccer for a long time, but I couldn't really see like even going to practice and stuff like that. It was hard for me to actually see progress
Mhm.
when I was playing soccer. So I'd want to stick to a sport that I can like actually see my progress over an extended period of time. I'd probably have to go hop on the bike and
Yeah.
start a biking career.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out Max DiMuccio a little bit here.
Yeah,
And his
no,
little
the triathlon's sick. I'm really happy for him. He's doing really well, and he is grinding.
Oh, I mean, like, it's kind of crazy to think, more shouts to Max, but like, it's crazy. You're training three sports at once, and like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it seems so tough, but that man's grind
Yeah,
out
I
right
mean, I think like in terms of like hours, like time on the bike, time in the pool, time running, it's equivalent to like a 100-mile week of running. It's something crazy.
now.
I don't want to touch the try because I don't like swimming. Swimming's not for me.
If anyone
I know
listening to this has never like just gone out for like a half mile swim, it is ruthless. Like,
it's hard. Yeah.
it's a tough bid right there, but
I never swam as a kid.
Mhm.
So like if you swam and did like swim team as a kid, you got it easy. For everybody who didn't do that as a kid, it's try getting in the pool now, you're gonna struggle.
How is that now like at North Carolina? Like, I mean, beaches and everything. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I went to a North Carolina beach for the first time ever this spring break actually. So it was still pretty cold. The Atlantic coast is it's colder than the Gulf, which is where I've always gone to the beach. Uh, but I still don't do much swimming. I don't cross train very much. I've stayed pretty healthy, so if I am going to cross train, I'll get on the bike.
mhm.
So try to stay out of the water as much as possible. I like the water, just not like actually doing work in it.
Yeah, and I mean, switching gears a little bit again, we talked about this a little bit before, but you're a UNC guy. I mean, we all know what month it is. I mean, It's March. So what's your thoughts on UNC? This well,
I like this UNC team. I think they're really, really good. It'll be interesting. I honestly I can't. They're pretty consistent. They're the compared to last year, so consistent.
mhm.
And I think getting the one seed is going to help them out a lot. I think if they can win their early games, they're gonna make a run.
Yeah.
So
Have you made a bracket?
I have.
Can we get the
So
like can we get like the Elite Eight a little bit?
let me actually pull it up.
Look at Ethan Strand bracket breakdown section a little bit.
Yes, I can do that. Hold on, let's see. It's under tournament challenge, I believe. Yep, here we go. So I right now I have the Heels winning. I haven't decided whether I want to change that or not.
Mhm.
I think UConn's really, really good.
Mhm.
Um, I have UConn getting upset by Auburn, believe it or not. So
Auburn's
my Elite Eight,
yeah.
so my Elite Eight right now, not too many upsets. I have Auburn versus Illinois in the East.
Mhm.
I have UNC versus Arizona in the West. I have Houston versus NC State in the South. I think NC State's going to make a run.
Yeah.
Keep that progress going from the ACC tournament, and then I have Purdue versus Tennessee.
Mhm.
So only one team right now that shouldn't be there, but I'm thinking I'm going to go back and make some changes.
I mean, the ACC tournament, I know you're a UNC guy. That was a little bit of a tough bid to NC State, but I mean, it is what it is. I like the Auburn take though. That's a
Yeah,
good.
I think their bench is elite. I think they have the best bench in the country. So if they make it past their first few games, similar to UNC, I think they'll make a run as well.
Yeah. And are you in any bracket pools with your teammates or
Yep, this that bracket right now is the one I have with my team.
are
So
you
we do one every year.
are you gonna bring it home this year is the real question.
I haven't had much luck with the brackets in the past. No, I don't think I've ever won a bracket challenge. I have won some fantasy football.
Hmm.
So
Has
out of the 3 years here, I've been in the championship game every time. So
out of all of the like runners on your team, who has the most ball knowledge, would you say? I mean, when it comes to
oh my
March Madness,
god. I don't know. My roommate Colton seems he thinks he knows what's going on.
mhm.
So I'd have to say Colton there. I don't know if he actually has the most ball knowledge, but he thinks he does. So
Is he bringing out like the offensive efficiency and defensive?
oh yeah,
Stuff?
I'm sure once he makes his bracket, he looks at that. But
That's
I don't look much at that. When I'm making my bracket, I look at a lot of head to head stuff.
that's what I do. Yeah,
So
that's what I've been trying to figure out too. And on a
yeah.
even on a crazy another gear change back to your running career, what do you even like?
Hmm.
What got this all started?
Yeah, so both my parents ran in college. My dad ran a little bit professionally. So obviously they grew up and were a part of the running world for forever. And then my dad started working at a local running store in Birmingham called the Track Shack.
Mhm.
And I was growing up during that time and he was still like doing road races and everything. So I'm traveling just locally to local road races on the weekend, asking my parents if I can run the fun runs and everything. Figured out I was pretty good at it and started winning some of the local mile races as I got older. And that just kept going and kept going. And then when I was able to get on a team in seventh grade, and actually start training a little bit, I realized that I might actually be pretty good at it, and I wanted to keep doing it. So it was kind of like the moment I started racing, as I knew it was what I was going to do.
Mhm. Yeah, where did your dad and mom run?
So my dad ran at Auburn, and then my mom ran at UAB.
Oh, is this part of the Auburn run like whole dynamic right here?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up an Auburn fan, watching Auburn football. So now the Auburn's basketball team's taken off a little bit. So they've been good the past few years. So they're fun to watch. UNC fan, but also secondary Auburn fan.
What would you say the biggest like lesson you got from your dad is as you were growing up watching him at those runs?
Yeah. I think one thing we always talked about at first is like when you're young and impressionable, you start to think about things that don't really matter when you're lining up for a race. If it's cold outside, you're so worried that it's cold outside. If it's raining, oh, I'm not going to be able to run very well. It's raining. It's like you can't control that, so it's important that you try not to worry about it and think about it. And then also like everybody else has to deal with it as well. If you're on the line and it's freezing rain and it's gross out. Like everybody else also has to deal with that. Um, so it's just that one phrase that he said told me all the time when I was little and started running was like control what you can control, and really just focus on the things that you can control. First thing being your effort and how much effort you put in out there. So
Yeah, and where did your mom run? I'm sorry.
so
Uh,
UAB, it's University of Alabama at Birmingham. So it's in Birmingham where I'm from.
yeah, and if you're getting ready for a big race, you're warming up. Are you listening to music? What are you listening to? Or
Yeah, so I did in high school, like when I'm warming up for a race, like when I'm out for my warm up jog, I'm listening to music. I don't do that as much anymore.
Mhm.
I know the team here, we've been on a little Big X the Plug run in the locker room. So probably if I had a pre-race hype song, I'd have to listen to Levels by Big X the Plug.
There you go.
That's the one.
That's the move.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And the last question I got for you, probably like the deepest question out there.
Okay.
You play Fortnite.
So yes, not a lot anymore. I've been playing a lot of other games, but like back in the day in high school, when I was in high school, that's all I played. I played so much Fortnite.
Mhm.
I once the new season came back, the old map, I played for that entire season all the time. Since the update, I haven't been playing as much. Playing a lot more Rainbow. That's been the go-to. But
Most important.
Fortnite's fun. I'll get into it every once in a while if my friends get on, but
Mhm.
not as much lately.
Yeah, and if you're running duos in Fortnite, who on your team would you run it with?
Oh, that's a tough one. Parker's pretty good.
Parker's
I'd
good.
say Parker's pretty good at Fortnite. Last time we played, I got him. We were playing Tilted Zone Wars, and I he couldn't kill me. So,
Are you a
if what?
build master?
Not really. No,
Ooh.
no, not for real. I can't edit very well, but I can build. I can build. I'm pretty good. And if not Parker, I'll probably have to go
Mhm.
Drew Rayner. He's one of the freshmen.
Yeah, I mean,
So
good moves. Well, Ethan, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It was a pleasure having,
absolutely.
and thank
Yeah,
you
thank you.
for watching. Till our next lap. See ya.